Right friends, welcome back to Learning Space for Facts and Figures. As per Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, as per the statistics given, total military expenditure is $1.7 trillion and it is almost equivalent to 75 to 80% of our GDP. Then USA tops with $611 billion. You see, almost 35 to 36% of world's military expenditure. You see, more than 35% of the global military expenditure is by United States of America. China is a second with $215 billion. India is at fifth position with $56 billion. Right? So, our defense expenditure is almost 1/10 of that of America and 1/4 of that of China. Right, look into the next one. It is a funny event when Vaigai Dam, where is Vaigai River? Vaigai River is in Tamil Nadu, please don't forget. Madurai are on the banks of Vaigai River, and at the same time on the banks of Kaveri River, Tiruchinappalli is there, and here Vaigai Dam in Tamil Nadu is in the news. What happened? The team led by Minister for Cooperation used thermocol sheets held together by cellophane tape to try and partly cover Vaigai Dam to prevent evaporation. Evaporation from lakes as well as dams, or you can say reservoirs, is quite common phenomena, and a funny experiment was made here, and because of wind all these thermocol sheets have gone away, and such experiment was tried previously in small tanks, but the point to note is where winds and waves are there, this experiment will not hold good. And in Chennai's Poondi and Cholavaram reservoirs previously, this cetyl alcohol emulsion was used to reduce evaporation. Overall, a funny experiment tried in the reservoir of Vaigai Dam. Look into the next one. Governing Council meeting of Niti Aayog was held, and Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Arvind Panagadia presented a document titled India Vision 2031-32. Here, one important point is 12th 5-year plan ended on March 31. So, now 15-year perspective plan is the program of Niti Aayog. So, if you look at 15-year perspective plan, here all citizens must have houses with toilets. These are the goals of perspective plan to all the citizens by 2031-32. Second one is two-wheeler or car. Next one is power, air conditioner to each and every house, digital connectivity, full literacy, universal access to healthcare. So, these are all the goals of 15-year perspective plan, which is going to be unveiled by Niti Aayog shortly. Right? Look into the next one. Indian Railways is going to launch a new mobile app named Hind Rail. This is going to be launched in June. Not only train information on arrivals as well as departures, it is a one-stop shop for various information like delays, cancellations, platform numbers, running train status, berth availability, e-catering, all will be in single mobile app, that is the Hind Rail. Look into the next one. The term of Union Cabinet Secretary Pradeep Kumar Sinha was extended by 1 year, as his 2-year term is coming to an end in June 2017. India Post Payment Bank is going to open 650 branches this year. And don't forget, in the month of January, 2 branches were opened at Ranchi and Raipur, and Payments Bank is example of NIC Bank or differentiated bank. It can take up only certain operations. 75% of the deposits must be invested in government securities. Here capital adequacy ratio is kept as 15%. It can issue debit cards, it cannot issue credit cards, it cannot go for lending activities, only it can accept money, and the deposits maximum is rupees 1 lakh per account. So, these are all the features of Payments Bank, and the bank plans to open at least one branch per district across the country, and every branch will be networked with 1200 to 1500 post offices in a district. Right, look into the next one. Google has unveiled a new set of products mainly aiming the Indian market, because various language speaking people from rural hinterland of the country are coming up to online to take care of that. Now Google unveiled this neural machine translation technology. This neural machine translation technology improves the quality of translation. How it improves quality of translation? It applies an example based machine translation. Based on the examples, it takes, or you can say the algorithm learns from millions of examples. When the algorithm learns from millions of examples, then it improves the quality of translation. That is all about neural machine translation technology. Now it is unveiled by Google, and here between English and 9 widely used Indian languages. Right, please don't forget about this neural machine translation technology. The government stated that the highest ever average daily construction of 130 kilometers per day, or you can say daily construction of rural roads, was 130 kilometers a day, and this is the highest ever under Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, which was launched in 2000 when Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister. And it is the important flagship program of central government, and last year 47,000 kilometers of Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana roads were constructed, which translates to 130 kilometers per day. And here over 4,000 km of rural roads, or you can say around 8% or so, have been constructed by using green technology in financial year 16-17, and the government is also pushing aggressively for the use of non-conventional materials in the construction of roads like waste plastic, geotextiles, fly ash, iron and copper slag in road construction. Right? USA installed third missile defense system in South Korea, and please look into this Korean Peninsula. We have seen number of times. Here it is demilitarized zone, and now in South Korea, United States of America is establishing third defense missile system, which is not acceptable to China. Right, look into the next one. China launched its first domestically built aircraft carrier amid raising tensions over North Korea and about the worries with regard to Beijing's assertiveness in South China Sea. And now the first domestically built aircraft carrier China launched, and China now joining few countries like US, Russia and UK that have indigenously built aircraft carriers. The new Chinese carrier will carry around 24 J-15 fighters, 12 helicopters, making it total 36. If you compare it with the aircraft carrier of America, that is Nimitz class aircraft carrier, it carries up to 85 to 90. And this aircraft carrier, which was domestically built by China, is similar to our INS Vikramaditya, please don't forget. And another point is, if you compare the naval power aircraft carriers, USA has got 10, whereas China has got 1, destroyers 62 and China has got 32, submarines almost China and USA are competing, and personnel, this differentiation I have given here, this is taken from one news report, and for this type of information, one news report differs with other, so don't ask me for the factual accuracy, but the figures may be approximately correct, right? So, this I have given only to make you understand the naval power of United States of America and China. Then SEBI barred resident and non-resident Indians from investing via controversial participatory notes. Participatory notes are issued by foreign portfolio investors. These foreign portfolio investors are registered with Securities and Exchange Board of India. They invest in Indian stock market whenever they get profit, whenever the situation in other countries is favorable, they will withdraw money and go away. Then if you look at the participatory notes, this rules changed from 1st July last year. Some stringent conditions were imposed by SEBI, stating that Indian KYC rules will apply to participatory note holders also. And don't forget, participatory notes are examples of overseas derivative instruments, and remaining things I have given here. And recently SEBI clarified that NRIs and resident Indians are prohibited from investments in participatory notes, and participatory notes are considered to be the conduits of black money. Please don't forget. Then if you look at the next issue, market regulator SEBI allowed the purchase of mutual fund units. SEBI allowed by using digital wallets. Every year by using digital wallets, you can purchase this mutual funds up to rupees 50,000. Second point is, SEBI also allowed trading in options contracts in commodities. We deliberated about the difference between options as well as futures some time back. Please refer that capsule. And second point is, it also permitted large and systemically important NBFCs. Systemically important NBFCs means they are very important, and at the same time the failure of systemically important financial institutions will affect other institutions, or it will affect the overall economy up to some extent. So it will affect either institutions or persons, and in the overall economy, the failure of systemically important institutions cannot be ignored. SBI, ICICI Bank are two systemically important banks in our country, don't forget. And look into the next one. Vinod Khanna, Bollywood superstar, died after suffering from bladder cancer. He was BJP Member of Parliament from Gurdaspur and also served as Union Minister of State some time back. Then the next one is Niti Aayog, the government's think tank, recommended reducing import duty on gold. You may have a doubt. Import duty on gold, why it was introduced? It was introduced somewhere around 2013. At present, import duty on gold is 10%, basically to discourage gold imports, because when gold imports are more, what will happen? Then our import bill will increase. Another point is, gold is non-essential import. We can live without gold also, but we cannot live without oil. So that's why oil is essential import, gold is non-essential import, and the government's priority of any government's priority is to restrict non-essential imports. Otherwise, current account deficit will increase for a country like India. So, to discourage gold imports, government has gone for imposing customs duty at 10%. So, now the think tank, or you can say Niti Aayog, has stated that this imposition of this customs duty is leading to smuggling of gold. Right? So, this is all about gold, and at the same time, don't forget, in fact, to discourage imports or to reduce the imports, government has come up with gold bond scheme as well as gold monetization scheme. So, these things please don't forget. Look at the next one. Center has decided to bring 10 iconic places in India under phase 2 of Swachh Iconic Places initiative. Under phase 1, these 10 places were nominated, and under phase 2, these 10 places are nominated. And the basic idea is to ensure better cleanliness and improved amenities for visitors. And from examination perspective, please look into this. Phase 1 Swachh iconic places. There are 10 Swachh iconic places under phase 1 and these 10 are under phase 2. Please look at it from examination perspective, very important. Right, let us look at the next one. The world's largest single location solar park of 1000 megawatt, or you can say 1 gigawatt. It is going to be the world's largest single location solar park. It is coming up in Kurnool district of Andhra Pradesh. And here about 7,000 crore has been invested in the park by the developers and the government. And this has been developed under the Solar Parks scheme of Ministry of New and Renewable Energy and set up by Andhra Pradesh Solar Power Corporation over 5,811 acres, and it packs about 40 lakh modules, right. It is going to be the world's largest single location solar park, and once this is commissioned, Andhra Pradesh may become number 1, replacing Rajasthan in solar power generation. Look into the next one. IRB infrastructure developers became the first in the country to go for InvITs. InvITs means infrastructure investment trusts, in which the sponsor, in this case the sponsor is IRB, transfers certain revenue generating assets, and here at least 80% must be revenue generating under InvITs, and the customers can purchase the units. The minimum unit value is kept as rupees 10 lakh, right. So now InvITs became operational for the first time in the country, and the Regulatory Securities and Exchange Board of India, don't forget. Among BRICS nations, India has the least number of point of sale machines per million population. In fact, it registered a sluggish growth until 2015. Now there is lot of need for POS machines, and for the payments to merchants, there are 3 mechanisms, don't forget. Merchants can get payment by using any of these mechanisms. One is POS terminal. It is well known to most of you. Second one is quick response code, or you can say scanning the QR code. Third one is Aadhaar Pay. What is required is your fingerprint is required, right. So in the examination perspective, there are 3 payment mechanisms for merchants, don't forget. Next one is Russian President Putin hosted Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe to discuss a dispute over 4 Kuril Islands. And here this has kept the 2 countries from signing a peace treaty ending the Second World War. There is a dispute with regard to 4 Kuril Islands between Japan and Russia. Now the things may be solved soon, right. Look into the next one. Nepal and China are about to sign the much talked about deal for cross-border rail network. So if everything goes well, in future Kathmandu, Pokhara as well as Lumbini. Lumbini, you see, Lumbini is the birthplace of Gautam Buddha. Lumbini is in Nepal. So the rail network will be extended if everything goes well from Kerung in China. Kerung is in the Tibet region of China, and if everything goes well, train service will be connected through Kathmandu, then here right up to Lumbini, here up to Pokhara, and once this is commissioned, then what happens? Nepal will become too close to China, but for construction there may be several hurdles. It requires huge finance because the terrain is basically mountainous, and don't forget, the Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal, is situated at an altitude of around 1400 meters. Right friends, look at the next one. Indian IT sector is going to face stiffest challenge. One country after the other is going for strict immigration controls. And don't forget, IT sector employs around 37 lakh employees, and our export revenues are around $100 billion. Right? The most important market is North American market, followed by European countries. And here, if you look at one country after other, American president signed Buy American, Hire American. UK scrapped short-term visas. Australia modified 457 visa rules. Singapore kept approvals for work permits. New Zealand imposed stricter immigration norms. So, everything is protectionist measure, and in future these type of protectionist measures are going to increase. Look into the next one. 5 cities: Puducherry, Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh, Udaipur in Rajasthan, Jamshedpur in Jharkhand, Chandigarh have started daily revision of auto fuel, petrol and diesel pricing. Right, look into the next one. Turkey President Recep Tayyip Erdogan visited India, and we discussed various aspects pertaining to the negative aspects, or you can say the relations reached too low after the visit. I listed out 6 points. Please view the mini capsule, and by the by, 3 agreements were signed between India and Turkey when Turkish president visited India. 2 important points I have listed here. Please go through it. And this is Turkey from geography perspective. This is very, very important. I discussed number of times. Right. So, with this, let us conclude facts and figures. Have a nice day. Thank you.